You know these songs, so maybe you can sing them with me. The first one is like, we're jamming, yeah? I wanna jam it with you. All right, cool. And then there's this other one that says, skanking sweet. Everybody wanna feel Irie. Okay, fine. I would give you a stellar rendition if I knew how to, but it's just to show you how reggae music has chronicled an amazing history, leaping over boundaries and crossing decades on decades. Hi, I'm Theodore Henry, welcoming you on a journey of history with Jamaica Magazine. Yes, it's Reggae Month and government has already launched the celebrations, so we're following suit, dusting off the vinyl and rewinding our records, all while celebrating other aspects of our culture. We're about to explore all that right now.
Let's get a little breeze on this land. All right. Now let's get some bounce in the rhythm. All right. Let's get some fire on our hearts. Now that is what we call all right. Run, come, get some Jamaica.
Good day, I'm Stephen McHugh, and this is your JIS News for Wednesday, February 5. Over 71% of the members in the House of Representatives voted in favor of a 90-day extension of the State of Public Emergency, SOE, in the Kingston Eastern Police Division. The SOE will remain in effect until April 25, following the initial 14 days after the enforcement period expires. As he moved the resolution Tuesday, National Security Minister Dr. Horace Chang said significant strides have been made in the area since the imposition of the special security measure on January 29. Chief among them, the fact that no major crimes have been committed in the police division.
The security forces have also far recovered one M16 rifle and over 100 offensive weapons, which were mainly discarded in public passenger vehicles. A total of 90 persons were taken into custody, of which 13 were detained and 77 released after processing.
The Eastern Kingston Police Division recorded 11 murders between January 1 and 29 this year, a 175% increase when compared to the same period in 2019. Meanwhile, approval was also granted for the zones of special operations in Denham Town and Mount Salem to be extended by a further 60 days. Dr. Chang says with the ongoing extensions, the work of the Social Intervention Committee continues as both zones are in the build phase of the Clear Hold Build strategy.
There is an overall improvement in public safety and security. Strengthened mechanism for service delivery by state institutions and community actors within the spaces are ongoing. And improvements in access to basic infrastructure and social services continue to be key efforts undertaken by the Social Intervention Committee.
The National Security Minister says since the imposition of ZOSOs in 2017, there have been no reports of murders and shootings in Mount Salem, while Denham Town has seen a significant reduction in major crimes. The Jamaica Constabulary Force is to increase its mobility in April. Minister of National Security Dr. Horace Chang says the force will get 43 motor vehicles and 64 motorbikes. This will add to the 184 vehicles issued to the police force earlier in the 2019-2020 fiscal year. Provisions are also being made to maintain the vehicles procured.
We are in the process of putting in place an effective fleet management system. We are using a software based on the Amber Connect system, which includes a vehicle tracking system as well as a maintenance schedule component. So vehicle tracking not only tells where the vehicle is, but whether it needs servicing, how much gas it needs, how fast it is being driven. The system will lead to effective management of the vehicles as we build out a sustainable and reliable fleet.
Dr. Chang says his ministry is having discussions with the Finance Ministry to introduce guidelines for the sale of old vehicles in the police fleet. In other news, 30 youth from Kingston have been selected as the first persons to benefit under the Transport Authority and the Heart Trust NTA driver training program. The sessions, which begin on February 12, will see the selected individuals undertaking 25 one-hour lessons for the next 2 months to include defensive driving training and lessons on public passenger safety.
Over time, we will have a pool of certified professional transport agents who will be able to safely carry your children and yourself about your business as you take whether the bus or the taxi. We have to be more professional as we look at this industry.
At Tuesday's program launch, Transport Minister Robert Montague says the initiative is expected to reform the transport sector while addressing the shortage of drivers in the public passenger industry. When the first batch completes the program in the first week of April, another group will be selected from St. Catherine. Registration for the Tourism Workers' Pension Scheme is expected to begin shortly. Minister of Tourism Edmund Bartlett says arrangements are being finalized to start the process. More than 350,000 employees are expected to benefit immediately from the pension scheme, which became effective on January 31, 2020.
This sets the stage now for the Board of Trustees to proceed to conclude the arrangements with the fund managers and the fund administrator.
He was addressing a press conference at the ministry's New Kingston offices on Monday. He further noted that the framework will now be established for the accompanying regulations for the Tourism Workers' Pension Act. Sensitization sessions will continue this week with hotels and attractions and all the affiliate groups in the industry to register persons for the scheme. The Tourism Workers' Pension Scheme is the largest pension plan in the Caribbean. By 2030, approximately 500,000 industry workers are estimated to be impacted as the industry continues to grow. Culture Minister Olivia Grange says she has plans to get the reggae category carried live on the Grammy Awards show.
Reggae is featured in the main show many times, but it's not treated as a category that is carried live. Now, there are many other genres that are treated that way as well. So it's going to be a tough fight, but nothing is impossible. As Jamaicans, we love a fight.
Minister Grange was speaking Monday as she and other government officials, including Prime Minister Andrew Holness, welcomed home Coffee after her win for Best Reggae Album at this year's Grammy Awards. The win makes Coffee the youngest solo reggae artist to cop the coveted award for her EP, Rapture. And finally, Prime Minister Andrew Holness is now in the United States for a 4-day visit to Missouri University. Mr. Holness left the island Tuesday to participate in the university's Black History Month Distinguished Lecture Series. Prime Minister Holness will lead Thursday's discussion on the state of constitutional democracy in Jamaica and the Caribbean. Ahead of the lecture series, the Prime Minister will meet with university officials, including President Moon Choi. Mr. Holness is also expected to attend a post-lecture reception and participate in a dinner. The Prime Minister returns on Friday. In his absence, National Security Minister Dr. Horace Chang will act as Deputy Prime Minister. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Stephen McHugh. Thanks for watching.
Through reggae's international stimulation and impact from as far back as the 1960s, its natural pull on the hips and the feet, and predominant thematic elements concerned with hope and reassurance, our government has created Reggae Month. As February greets us, celebrating the music and the birth of icons such as Bob and Dennis Brown, Jamaica Magazine is also celebrating the story behind the music. Here's Reggae, music for the people.
From deep within the archives, on reels no longer supported by the platforms of a technological modernization in the transmission of sounds and images, comes the story of a people and their relationship with the music they have bred.
Reggae! Reggae! Reggae music is bass, brother. Yes, sir. Reggae music is roots. Not the dread. Yes, sir. Is our kind of music that, brother? What me say?
If reggae can ever be edged to a set place, then 13 Brentford Road is its home. It was here at Studio One in 1968 that Rocksteady briefly went back 20 years, married the folk rhythms of Mento, and gave birth to reggae.
The new art form experienced its share of birthing pains as the so-called elites of society struggled to accept its revolutionary presence, while those from whose experiences it sprung cleaved onto this evolution in expression.
Reggae music is something that I think most of our people are ashamed of. I don't know why this should be, because it is coming from our roots. So much people are naked like them shame.
I agree. Truly. Sure, them just shame of what truly belongs to them. What me say?
That's what we steal sometimes, do I?
Truly.
Well, I think that the rhythm is very good, and we like it a lot in Jamaica here.
As myself coming from New York, I only thought that I would dig soul music, just, you know, funky music. But as I hear the reggae music, I like it.
I like reggae music very much because, right, it shows a lot of culture, right? It tells from the plantation days, the type of music the people used to sing, right? And it sort of revealed what really was going on in that time, right? Up till now, right?
It's something you can't just sit down and listen to. You have, you get the feeling to move.
Reggae music is our high-style music. Same way like how soul music belongs to CS, reggae music belongs to GA. And my favorite artist are Bob Marley and the Wailers.
Probably because it's part of me, and we create it, I don't know. But I think I enjoy playing reggae very much.
I really dig reggae music, but whenever time I hear reggae music, I feel like dancing,
I'm in a dancing mood.
Generations later, and the narrative retains echoes of past sentiments with the addition of new layers.
Reggae change, I can't say like it changed a bit, but still reggae beat. The old one is better, the new one not much to me. I just love the old stuff.
When I'm working, I listen to my music, keep me going,
If me go dance on them music that I'm play, me not really stay there.
It means everything. It's a part of Jamaicans' history. So it defines who we are as Jamaicans.
It means everything. It means love, it means peace, it means understanding.
Reggae is a lifestyle. Reggae is a lifestyle, Jamaican lifestyle. Yeah, even the lifestyle you live, because even then tell you in the farm, you work hard every day, hustle hard every day in the music, so it's reggae. So reggae is life, man,
Reggae has become what some prophesied, a few decried, and almost none could truly imagine.
Reggae is no longer seen in the world as alternative music or third world music or new wave music.
It's doing good. I think a lot of guys who make a lot of money from it, but it is good. I think it may be probably next to tourism.
People know Jamaica not only for our sand, sun and beach, but they know us for our music. So when you go abroad and people be like, you're from Jamaica, you know Bob Marley, you know such and such, all because of our music. So reggae is our definition of Jamaica.
It is the strongest component in the brand Jamaica construct.
Reggae artists and those who specialize in its offshoot dancehall have won major musical awards. In life and past death, its greatest ambassador retains an undeniable international presence that has demanded respect from world-renowned publications. Since 2009, the entire month of February has been dedicated to its celebration at home. It was instrumental in garnering capital Kingston the designation by UNESCO as a creative city of music. And in 2017, the Jamaican government submitted a nomination dossier to have reggae inscribed on UNESCO's representative list of intangible cultural heritage for humanity.
This international protection instrument will ensure that the origins of reggae and its derivatives are appropriately documented and safeguarded for present and future generations. It is fascinating fascinating to reminisce on the early days when Jamaican music struggled to germinate, and the pioneers were classified in some cases as undesirables right here at home.
But even then, in its infancy,
Well, I think that reggae is a good music, here to stay, and I think reggae music belongs to us, and we ought to show it, right?
and now,
Reggae is hot commodity and the world has embraced it, but we are proud to declare that we still own it.
Respect must be given whenever respect is due. One more time, let's give it up for Jamaica and reggae music.
Our history is also molded by some of the very things our icons wear, things like our bandana cloth. We now bring you a little piece of the bandana story.
Yarmiyaki go a Linstead market, not a quality what sell. Carry aki go a Linstead market, not a quality what sell.
Oh Lord, what a night, what a night, what a Saturday night. Lord, what a night, what a night, what a Saturday night.
Compliments pan your madras.
Same to you.
Thank
like
you.
it.
Well up there, so what is madras? Make we sit down. Young but really no know Sam.
Aye, sir.
Madras is what we call bandana. So madras is basically a cotton plaid fabric which came from India and was brought to Jamaica by the indentured laborers after slavery ended. But every Caribbean island have a little touch of this, you know.
They have a different pattern.
Right.
And so, them use it to identify each Caribbean island.
It is important to note that the broader plaid, which is referred to as the Miss Lou bandana, is the original material that was used in Jamaica. And as time progressed, the finer plaid came on stream, which is the red bandana with mixtures of blue and black.
The word bandana is actually Hindi. And everybody knows that Hindi is the language that the people from India speak. Now the word bandana means to tie. And that's why most people associate bandana with tying your head. But in Jamaica, we don't use bandana per se. We use any kind of fabric for tie head, you know. All we do, we just wrap it around their head in a one circle and we tie the back so that when them put the goods on top of it, it all on balance.
Hold on then. See one basket here. Oh, so now, me can carry me a Kiga Linstead market.
You know,
and the history continues. You know, I spoke to Auntie Faye the other day. Everybody in here must know Faye Ellington, right? Yeah, man. She say, by the way, you ever see Sheena Faye bandana?
Yes.
She pretty not true? Man. Yeah, man. Now, she told me the other day that bandana was used by the female vendors in the market. They use the bandana as bib. The same thing that we call apron, and they also use it to tie them head, and they use it also as scarf. It is also popular to note that the working class women used to wear the bandana.
Yes, yes.
But they were looked down on because they wear it. But they were persistent.
Yes.
They wore it with dignity and pride.
That is very right.
And they were the one who actually legitimized the bandana.
You didn't know a bandana is not just a costume. It also helps us to identify as Jamaicans. You understand what I'm saying? Over the years, the bandana has evolved. Because as time change, people stands on different things, it change as well. So today, bandana is considered to be our unofficial costume. National costume. So look here now. Miss Lou was the one that really made bandana so popular, Yes, man. Every time she would do one of her theatrical performances, Miss Lou would dress up in her bandana, and anytime anybody gonna do any of her poems, where them use bandana. And now everybody want a little touch of bandana.
And you know, them now wearing it at the Miss Universe,
you lie,
and the Miss World, and the Festival Queen competition.
You see, the bandana is not only one style you can wear it, For example, me is not wearing the original kind, Me is wearing Simply Precious design. Yes, man. Normally how them wear it is, them wear it in a one nice flare skirt, and then them pair it now with a wonderful white top. They put a piece of the bandana or the madras around the neckline, or even put it around the sleeve sometime, just to add a little oomph and spice to it. So over the years, it has become more stylish and stylish and stylish. And then, of course, the man them normally wear a nice little shirt with the madras or the plaid, and then pair it with a black pants or with a white pants. And if you're fancy and in high fashion, you put a scarf around it, right?
Or even a head tie.
Thank you very much. So you see, all in all, bandanas come a far way. From the marketplace to haute couture.
High fashion, high fashion.
That's right. Bandana come from India, reach a Jamaica, and all in all, bandana
is here to stay. What a joyful news, Miss Matty. I feel like my heart going burst. Jamaican people colonizing England in reverse.
By the hundreds, by the thousands, from country and from town, by the shipload, by the plane load, Jamaica is England bound. But what are the government plan England? Them brave the war and face the worst. But I don't know how them Western colonizing in reverse.
Bandana, bandana, a part of we identity, a bandana, a bandana, oh a bandana, a part of we identity, a bandana.
Make a draw for the madras. Oh, put on your madras.
Yes, a part of we identity, a bandana.
Jack Mandora, me no choose no.
So we make some real good music, cut and sew some fine pieces. But there's also an inextricable link to Jamaicans and jewelry making. We explored the art that some of our very own craft vendors make. Check it out.
Droplets of beads, creatively designed metals, painted wood, all handcrafted to adorn the neck, face, or limbs. Made from natural resources found on the island, local costume jewelers are designing a niche for economic empowerment.
Natural handbands. These are like from Lucky Seeds and RSI, and these bracelet is from copper with seed mixed in. And we have bamboo handband. We have leather handband over here, and we have wallets, sandals, and pipes and chalices. Natural, all handmade right here in Jamaica. this business for over 40 years now. I've traveled all over the world, and this is the business that I do. This is my living, and I'm very proud of it. I was working at the post office for 18 years, but in the 18 years at the post office, I learned this trade. I'm self-taught. That's what I love about this. I think about a creative piece, and I manifest it with my hands. And that's what I love about it, manifesting what I think.
So we have two lines here. We have one called the Heavenlies, and then we also have another line that's completely made out of paper, crafted from scratch, hand-painted by a fine artist and varnished. And that one is called Inspired by Nature. And if you look at it, you'll see things that remind you of sunsets or hillsides and mountainous reliefs and fruits and flowers. We have some freshwater pearls, we have shells, we have upcycled, I would say, materials that we use to make the earrings, so paper. So, and we do a lot of seeds and shells. I work a lot with shells. So those sorts of things.
I'm telling you this, we don't know how rich we are. We're a very rich country. I'd love if we could concentrate on developing our skills and using our local product and advance. We are so rich that it's confusing sometimes to see what we're doing, some much stupid things. Killing each other, robbing each other. We don't have to do that. We have everything here. So we need to just concentrate and focus and be positive and use the things that we have, because we have a lot.
Just be more mindful of what you're doing every day and what you're using every day. You know, paper instead of plastic, that's kind of, you know, the stereotypical answer, but really thinking about where you're buying your products. Are you buying things that are locally made? Are you buying things that are imported more than the locally made?
We did mention that we're in Reggae Month, and we want to share some important facts about the genre that acts as the cerebrum of Jamaica's music culture. Here goes. Number 1. In 2009, government dedicated February to commemorate Reggae Month. Both Bob Marley and Dennis Brown, who are major players and shapers in the reggae industry, were born in the month. The first Reggae Month was celebrated in 2010. Number 2. In 2018, the United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization, also known as UNESCO, added reggae music to its list of international cultural treasures worthy of protection and promotion. UNESCO says Jamaica's distinctive beat has furthered international discourse on injustice. Number 3. Reggae music originated in downtown Kingston, where the major studios like Studio One and Treasure Isle were located. Many major reggae singers were either born, raised, or got their big break in a downtown Kingston community. Bob Marley and the Wailers, Dennis Brown, John Holt, Bob Andy are among them. And number 4, the first reggae Grammy was won by Black Uhuru for the album Anthem, which was released originally in 1983 and internationally in 1984. Black Uhuru was a Jamaican reggae group formed in 1972. Reggae music is an invaluable part of our culture, but today is your chance to keep creating things that will become invaluable to Jamaica. It's pretty simple. We're all working to make Jamaica the place of choice to live, work, raise families, and do business. And that's all the time we have for you today, but there's much more we have to share tomorrow. Until then, watch some of our other shows on our YouTube channel. Also, visit the JIS website and keep up with us on our Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter pages. Now, just before we head out of your homes and offices, here's a quote from one of our reggae stars. Reggae has a philosophy, It's not just entertainment. There's an idea behind it, a way of life behind the music, which is a positive way of life, which is a progressive way of life for better people. And that's from Ziggy Marley. On behalf of the entire production team here at the JIS, I'm Theodore Henry. Take care.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.